NewGenGamers.com.
And it gives you like a high low. You know, if you rolled this much over, you know, you could get critical successes, critical fails. I mean, you wouldn't lose your weapon or anything, but you could still get a critical fail and completely miss. So it was more like a hit or miss, but they gave you more damage per hit if you did higher. Now, there was also a sequel made for this, Knights of the Old Republic 2. That one was done by Obsidian, though. It wasn't BioWare's game. BioWare wanted to focus on their own things, which was pretty much Jade Empire, which we'll be taking a look at later on.
Because it's fantastic as well.
Yeah, BioWare has a pretty good track record as far as good games go. I mean, if you have any questions about that, go check out Mass Effect 1 or 2.
Pretty much.
It's a pretty epic RPG. Alright, you got kind of like a well-rounded character here.
Yeah, I figured I'd try to go for
Kind of
a little
even
bit of
up and
everything.
all. Yeah. Well, that's fine for like just a basic character to start with. I mean, if you wanted to go a little bit more in depth as far as like upping your intelligence a little bit more, so that you would have, you know, better success in that aspect, or, you know, up your speed so you could run a little bit faster. And
Right. But
now here's our skills. These are you have to be very choice with these, because you want to see what do you think you would play as better. Like, if you want to go in and if you're going to try and go dark side, you up your persuade to like 3 or 4 to start with. And a lot of times repair helps you a lot, especially in the HK-47 quest. Basically, when BioWare went into making this, they wanted to make a really deep Star Wars game. So they got into discussions with LucasArts, and LucasArts presented them with options as to where they could place it in the timeline. And the idea was that they didn't want to do something that tied too closely to the movies that were coming out. They chose to go way back and handle the 4,000 years before the Empire. So they chose one where they could have as the most creative freedom to work with within the license.
Right.
And it turned out really well for them, because with that ability, they didn't have to worry about, oh, well, we can't use this character because they're going to be in this part of the storyline in the new Attack of the Clones, blah, 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 you know. Oh, what do you mean we can't use Jango Fett? Blah. You know, that kind of stuff. So they went with something where they could just completely make their own characters and just set their own story. And it's almost seemed that now this game is really part of official canon. Oh, you want to explain the feats here real quick, Luke?
Sure. The power attack adds +5 damage to your attack, obviously. Right.
That's an automatic feat. Go
And
2
these
weapon
are
fighting
automatic
if you
feats.
can. There you go. Dual wielding lightsabers is awesome. The main game, graphics engine, and story were all developed by BioWare, and LucasArts did the audio. So you'll notice a lot of Star Wars themed audio in this. Kind of ties it into the rest of it, to where it sounds just like one of the movies. And kind of gives you that whole feel the way through.
Alright, we're good to go.
This game also had a ton of voice actors. I want to say over a few thousand. I don't have an exact number here, but it's over a few thousand.
Brrr.
This game got first went on sale in July of 2003. It sold 250,000 copies in its first 4 days. It was pretty well received.
Have you said anything about how the engine actually plays off of like a dice format?
Yeah.
Of like
Yeah, how the battle system works off of the D20 format.
Right.
And the hit-miss ratio deal.
Right, right.
They also released some DLC for it that was free. Won't see that much anymore.
No, don't see that much at all anymore.
It was the fastest selling game at its time.
If you do get DLC that's for free,
it's already been out for 6 months.
That, or it's because the company messed something up.
Yeah,
or
they have
there's
to patch
some
it.
new peripheral that you need to, you know.
Oh, so it'll work with Kinect now.
Or, like, the PlayStation Move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's free if you own this, you know. I love Star Wars intros. And you skip it!
You done. It was done!
No, it wasn't! There was the whole pan down to the ships thing. You're rolling your eyes, but I'm a Star Wars geek and you're not, so... I don't think you understand.
I like Star Wars, I just want to get to the action.
That's completely understandable. Now, as you'll see, there's the trees, the dialogue trees, where you can choose different ways. This definitely determines the whole light side, dark side dynamic. The more you answer like a dick, you're gonna fall on the Sith side. The more you answer, oh, I want to help everybody, you're gonna go to the light side. Like, see, he answered the dick. Now he's gonna rip on you for being a dick, Mr. Sith Lord. Now the best part is about this game, you can go full-on Sith with the Sith powers and everything.
Yeah, well, that's part of the whole feats thing. Like, you get to choose what abilities you actually end up with.
Yeah. I mean, personally, when I was playing this, I kind of bridged the line because I liked the Sith battle abilities, but I liked the Jedi, like, healing abilities. So I kind of wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted to be able to heal myself while shooting somebody with Force Lightning. And yeah. Force Lightning is ridiculously effective in this game. Now here we go. This is the layout of the game. You receive experience points not only for completing like killing enemies, but you also get it for getting like just doing things within the game. That's why it was really good at progressing the story, because you knew that even though you didn't want to do that, it would progress the story and you would get experience. So you would get stronger for progressing the story, which I thought was a really good addition to role-playing games, because a lot of times you would run into a game where, yes, you wanted to progress the story, but you didn't feel you were powerful enough. Whereas in this game, by progressing the story, you get more powerful. And here's our equipment screen. As you see, you don't have a lightsaber yet. You're not quite that strong yet. You're not a Jedi yet.
Oh.
What were you trying to equip?
I wanted to equip the gun to the other hand.
You can't do that with a lightsaber. Silly. Alright, while we're taking a look at an epic game here, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the technical specifics of the Xbox. Okay. Now, the CPU was a 32-bit, 733 megahertz Intel Pentium 3 Coppermine-based processor. The SSE floating point SIMD, single precision floating point numbers per clock cycle. 33 megahertz 64-bit GTL front side bus to the GPU. A 32 kilobyte L1 cache. 128 kilobyte on-die L2 cache. It had 64 megabytes of DDR SD RAM at 200 megahertz in dual-channel 128-bit configuration. The GPU and chipset was 233 megahertz NV2A ASCI, co-developed by Microsoft and NVIDIA. The NVIDIA card that was in it, there was actually a little bit of a problem with Microsoft on that, which is why the backwards compatibility on the 360 had to be done by a patch, because they used a different graphics card provider, and they needed to patch it so it would work with the NVIDIA, like stuff that was programmed for NVIDIA. It was similar to the GeForce 4 T1 4200. The storage medium was on DVD. This was a DVD console. It was a 2X or a 5X. As we mentioned before about the hard drive, it was either 8 or 10 kilobyte or megabyte or gigabytes, mega, gigabytes, depending on when you got it. It basically was formatted to fit 8. It also had a memory card that plugged into the controller, but funny we mentioned it during this game, this was one of those games that you could not take on the memory card. You could not take it off of your Xbox. So there were some games that did not allow you to do that. It also had Ethernet built in. Like, you could just plug in a Cat5 cable and go. You would be set up for Xbox Live. It also played DVD movies. Problem was you also needed an adapter for that.
And the DVD player would crap out before anything else on the console anyway.
Right. I mean, it was a decent DVD player, it just tested the laser more. And I think that goes more into the kind of the weakened laser of this.
Right.
It had 4 controller ports in the front. And the damn thing was heavy.
Yeah. Earlier I told you to lift with your knees whenever we were moving it.
I'll tell you what, when I was working stock in these things in the electronics department, when they were still being sold, we had to put them kind of high up. So I had to climb a ladder with these damn things.
Right.
With PS2s and GameCubes, I could grab like 2 or 3 and just take them up. With the Xbox, I had to take them one at a freaking time to get them up there. It was kind of ridiculous.
There is good, and there is evil. We all have within us the capacity for both. But in the end, a final question remains. Which side are you on? In an epic struggle between light and dark, Choose your path and seal the fate of the galaxy. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, rated T for teens. For saving the galaxy, there's no power greater than